Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 555, coming right fives, of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Let's get into some new DCEU developments. The first one up is there is a new Wonder Woman 1984 image and a magazine. This is coming from Total Film. Now, they're going to have a magazine that's coming out pretty soon with this new image right here. Nothing much. It really is just, Steve Trevor and Diana Prince. What looks like in a warehouse. Maybe they found something. I don't know. Very probably Indiana Jones-ish, if you will, maybe. It's very similar to the other image where they're out in the street or she's on the phone, something like that. As we know, it's more of an adventure type story here. But there's also the magazine that is coming out as well. And this is all about Wonder Woman 1984. But if you look closely to this little area right here, it does say Zack Snyder Cuts and Controversy. So she has not said anything about the Snyder Cut, even that teaser where she was in the Snyder Cut teaser, she has not said a word. Is she going to say anything about have they asked her anything about the Snyder Cut to date? And it could be, I don't know, it could, maybe it could be some type of marketing thing where she's or NDA or something where she's only allowed to promote the next film, which is Wonder Woman 1984 at this time. And then after Wonder Woman 1984, then she can talk about the Snyder Cut. It's very interesting indeed. But in any case, Wonder Woman 1984 is still slated to come out October 2nd, and it has postponed several times now. So hopefully we're keeping the date at this time. Wonder Woman 1984, October 2nd. Well, can't come here soon enough as long as it's safe for people to go back to theaters again. Now, we're still on the thing about Wonder Woman, but actually Patty Jenkins actually came out to talk a little bit about Wonder Woman 3. She says here that she's hitting pause on Wonder Woman 3. Now, this is also coming from Geek Vibes Nation. Patty Jenkins says she has hit the pause button in Wonder Woman 3. Let's see what she means. This is what Patty Jenkins had to say. I've really hit the pause button, she says, of Wonder Woman 3. Because the truth is, where that plot line was coming from was our state of being 6 months ago. And so I want to make sure that I'm totally absorbing whatever the result of this pandemic is. We're not starting to work on that movie right away, she says, of returning to work post-lockdown. I'm hoping to do this Amazon movie before we do the third Wonder Woman. And I may not do either of them. You never know what will happen in this world, But yes, I think the plot line will stay very similar, probably, but I want to make sure it's influenced by all of this. So I'm trying to figure out, does that mean? And I think this is what she means, is that because Wonder Woman 3 is state in the present day, it should have present day effects, whether it's the coronavirus pandemic, whether it's the Black Lives Matter protest, pretty much what is the current climate of today. And if she's worried about the current climate of today, then this is probably not a 90s project. This is going to be current times. Wonder Woman 3 is either set present time or future time, but I'm leaning more towards present time. We're finally Wonder Woman 3 from the past. We went from from the World War I to 1984, and we're gonna jump into present time whenever Wonder Woman 3 will be done. But she also is, careful to say that she is probably may not direct either Amazon movie or Wonder Woman 1984 to see how she goes with that. But I am really intrigued to see where she takes this character, as we've only seen her in the past. We're going to continue seeing her in the past so far, and we have yet to see the true Diana Prince that we were supposed to get in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So hopefully we'll and I'm sure we're going to be so excited to see that. I think it's going to be quite the character that we could really relate to post BVS in terms of present day battle hardened scene shit Wonder Woman after BVS. So I can't wait for that. Another character, another actor is talking about Superman. Yes, Henry Cavill went on a variety type of extreme with a chat with Patrick Stewart. They're talking about their characters, and so Henry Cavill's biggest character, of course, we know is Superman, and so he got to talk to Patrick Stewart a little bit about his Superman.
I've always been a fan of Superman, so just alone having the opportunity to literally wear his boots for a number of movies, and to wear them not just on set either. With a character like that, you carry the mantle with you off set, and it becomes part of your public representation. People, when you meet children don't necessarily see me as Henry Cavill or even Geralt of Rivia, but they might see Superman, and there's a responsibility which comes with that, and it's because it's such a wonderful character. It's actually a responsibility I'm very happy to have, and I hope that I get to play more of Superman in years to come. My life has changed dramatically because of it. It has given me plenty of opportunity for roles, and yeah, it's been one of those characters which changed the entire course of my career, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. And it's also taught me a lot about myself. The nature of the character is so good.
In what way, Henry?
He's so good, the character, and he's so kind, and when you start to compare yourself to him because you're playing him, you start to really look inwards, and you say, am I a good person? Can I be a good enough person to play Superman? And if you ever find a whisper in there which is like, hold on a second, maybe not, then you adjust it and you make sure you are a better person. And I think that's all we can do in life when as we grow and we gain experience is not beat ourselves for the mistakes we make, but to endeavor to be better people as those mistakes happen.
And that's not all. I mean, he actually talks about something else also. And that's not all. He also talks a little bit about the Snyder Cut. So this is an excerpt, thank you to Superman on Film, about him talking about the Snyder Cut. It's not that much, but you'd probably want to hear it anyway.
Oh, the Snyder Cut, the famous / infamous / all sorts of things Snyder Cut. I can't really tell you anything aside from the fact that all I know is that HBO Max will be releasing it, I believe, and it'll be Zack's final vision for the movie. And I don't know anything more than that. And I'm just really happy that Zack got to realize his vision. I think it's important for a filmmaker and a storyteller to have their vision, their intended vision, released and shown to the world, and I'm looking forward to seeing it myself.
Oh, great!
It's been quite the ordeal, sort of, with all of that. Yes, I mean, with Justice League when it came out, and Zack had to depart because of a death in the family, and then a separate director, Joss Whedon, was brought on, and there was a mix of visions.
This thing has been loading, and it's got a little slow.
The movie wasn't well received, and then over the subsequent years, there was a big push by us to see the fabled Snyder Cut, and now that time has come, and I think it's going to be very enjoyable to watch Zack finally release his vision, as I say.
So that was Henry Cavill talking about the Snyder Cut. Now, the interesting thing about these two clips here, the first clip where he talks about how how playing Superman, right? First of all, he wants to continue playing Superman, which is great. I think we all would love to see him continue playing Superman. I think you would agree with me on that. I totally would love to see him continue playing Superman. Please continue playing Superman as long as you can. And when you start getting older, just continue playing Into the Kingdom Come Superman or something like that, you know? So I really love him as Superman. I want to see him continue, but I love how he says that, how he has to kind of be that good person. You have to show that he's Superman, even without the cape, without the suit, because, people are looking at him now, right? Children are looking up to him like that's Superman, right? And so I like that he's playing into that and making sure that he is that person, is that good enough a person, and he's even thinking about that as well. He's the perfect Superman. He's the perfect person to play Superman. And also his comments about the Snyder Cut is interesting. Like he's playing very coy about that. He playfully says, like, I think HBO Max is releasing or something. He's very coy, very same old political Henry Cavill, and that's something we should come to expect from him already. And it's interesting how he seems like he's thinking back on the Snyder Cut. And for what we know, the Snyder Cut is like Justice League 1, and he doesn't necessarily become that Superman till later on. So I'm wondering if he's like, later on, you'll see what type of Superman I am gonna be in that, which I'm very intrigued. I want to see that arc continue on, and hopefully we'll get a lot more of Justice League, of course, and of course a lot more of Henry Cavill as Superman. He loves to play him. Let him continue to play Superman. Because we're kind of talking about the Snyder Cut, right? There's a lot of different things in the Snyder Cut, and we always try to decipher what's going to happen, what's things like that. And now we're not going to do that because this is not about spoilers or anything like that. But it just looking back, we're just kind of like looking through the different things, the paintings, the murals and stuff. But I want to update you on one particular thing about that whole Supergirl, that whole, just wondering if Supergirl's in the movie or not. And that whole aspect Sudipto had put up, Matthew Miranda, who was actually, Lightcast podcast, actually had put this out before that and had actually suggested that very idea. And I'd like to share that Vero post right now. Matthew Miranda had put out these nice mural paintings and pictures as a reference. And he says this: I was reading Paradise Lost the other day, as one does, and it occurred to me that the oil painting and BVS share the same similarities. I began to approach this with a very analytical perspective and hope to create some connections to its importance to Superman's archetypal Kryptonian heritage. The poem Paradise Lost by John Milton is told in medias res, which is in the middle of, and illustrates the classic motif of good versus evil. What is interesting in the parallel to Man of Steel and how the film begins in the medias res, which was the fall of Krypton, we come to the painting in BVS where Lex Luthor is talking its importance and how the painting should be turned upside down, referencing that angels are the demons. This also illustrates Lex's fall from humanity and similar to being corrupted by his own self-ambition due to his child upbringing. This seems very familiar to that of Moloch in Paradise Lost, whom is a demon that is offered the sacrifice of children to honor him, and he argues for war against God. The parallel here is that Lex Luthor has sacrificed his childhood and pledged a war against God. If God is all good, he cannot be all powerful, and if he's all powerful, then he cannot be all good. Now, this brings me directly to the painting. We see angels and demons are at different ends of the spectrum. This illustrates that Kryptonians in Zack Snyder's universe are the angels, godlike creatures or metahumans, and the demons will be the ones that fell into temptation and were corrupted. Parademons, Lex Luthor, We know Darkseid is Satan in this universe. His ultimate goal is to corrupt others to obtain anti-life. So this brings me to Man of Steel. We know the Open Paw was a Kryptonian, and in Paradise Lost, we know Eve is the first to fall. So Carol would have had that Kryptonian that Darkseid wishes to corrupt because it proves Lex Luthor ideology correct, and Superman needs to change that perspective to save humanity or corrupt it. So I love that. I think that's awesome to see that reference, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't know, but it seems really it puts that nicely in perspective because it's always about symbolism, right? Zack Snyder is all about this. I mean, he put that painting for a reason, and it's depiction, and he's always thinking in depth. It makes it much more meaningful. It has religious aspects, it has philosophy part of it as well. It's incredible. That's incredible if it was that thought through, and just knowing BVS and Man of Steel, and everything you can pull apart from that, everything he's talked about in his commentary. I'm not going to be surprised if this is the case. And Eve is the first of all, Eve being Kara. Zor-El, of course, Supergirl, and according to Dipto, turns into Grail. So I'm not going to be surprised if that is true at all. So thank you, Matthew Miranda, for letting me know about that. Now, Unity 514 has a new translation for the second wall in the Shrine Temple. Let's look at the 4 pics above for full details. My profiles, and that you can check out his profile as well. So this is the picture he is referring to. This is the mural. He's deciphering all this stuff. So thank you so much for doing that. And let's go into it. So the first one, and I'm going to take this off so you can actually see it. Whoops. So the first one, part 1 of 4, he translated that temple shrine. Let's go down to the translation. Parademons flying down through the ether. So we could probably assume that's, the ether is the boom tube. The boom tube. So parademons flying down. Okay. The ether is flying down, and with a loud roaring clash of iron and blood and horses, they have pushed back the conspiracy of the invaders. So I'm wondering, the invaders would probably be, the Apocalyptians, right? Ether, I'm thinking, is the boom tube. So on the last part, the translation is very big. The last part of the bottom is where all the juice is. It's the white portion of text in between the Apocalyptic priests. Read carefully. This is amazing. So he's talking about this area. This is the big part of area where he's able to grasp a lot more of it. The high thundering Zeus commanded, ordered, urged his son Ares to terribly punish and slay or kill Darkseid, Skotomidis, the invading being, or to slay or kill Darkseid, the invader, resulting in him being punished or injured severely, badly, terribly, but surviving. Therefore, because of what happened to Darkseid, as a result, for his own sake, he survived, prevailed, being only scorched, burned, roasted, but defeated in battle. He fled. He took refuge or sheltered to the stars in a hurry, but the ruling dominant soldiers left behind the 3 boxes, the 3 mother boxes. Therefore, 1 arc box each was distributed among the 3 generations, tribes, races, or clans, so that they can watch, over, hide, guard, protect, defend them if Darkseid invades again. So essentially, what we kind of know that Yuxas comes down, and Zeus is, fighting him, and probably injured him. But they need that one. He needed his son Ares to severely, injure Yuxas, and he goes and escapes. So it's kind of like we're switching Darkseid with Steppenwolf in that result. So that makes sense. And also to the part that we already know, they split the boxes and everything to each, the Atlanteans, the Mascarians, and mankind, in order to defend before Darkseid invades again. So essentially, I don't see Steppenwolf in here at all. So in my mind, I'm wondering if Steppenwolf was involved at all in this battle here, right? So I'm very curious about that. The other thing about this that I forgot to mention the other day is these symbols right here. That looks like the Martian Manhunter symbol. And so if it's possible, maybe even the Martians were involved in this. Of course, there's many designs, and an X design does not necessarily mean for everything, but I just noticed that this is very similar to the design Zack Snyder had for Martian Manhunter, so it's very possible that that could be the case. But we won't know. We won't know until we actually fight. We actually watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it can't come here soon enough. What is it again? Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming out next year, 2021, early to mid 2021. So I'm thinking that's probably more like the second quarter, which would be March, April, or May. So we'll see if that actually happens. And I'm really, really curious to see what other teasers are we going to get. Are we going to get more teasers? Are we going to get a trailer? I'm really aching for more. I know we got that little teaser that we watched already, but it's like crack, man. I was like, let's get some more. Let's get some more of those Snyder Cut teasers. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing. I'll see you guys next time.